welcome to League Zero's Advanced League. Today we have the Tokyo Drifters versus the Kingdom Come, and Tokyo Drifters on a 3-win hot streak, looking to make it a fourth, while the Kingdom Come, pretty good team, looking for the upset. Now, who is your favorite to win, Florida?
Tokyo Drifters has to be the favorites coming in. They're undefeated as the current moment. It seems a lot of their momentum. They're riding a lot of momentum, but still, Kingdom Come looks like a solid team, and this has all the makings of a really good match.
I agree. I think these two are the top teams of the Advanced League, and I'm looking forward to see how this match comes out. Now, we're going to have Lijiang Tower as our first map. Any ideas on what the comp is going to be?
Lijiang Tower is one of the more interesting control maps, in my personal opinion. You can run a lot of stuff here. Night Market actually has a tendency to sometimes have the weird Symmetra strats, where you TP up to the window. It's not really weird, but it typically runs those Symmetra strats. Control Center has a lot more brawlish tendencies, while the outside of Gardens, a lot of the time, dive is preferred. We'll have to see also if the meta is preferred by these teams, or will they be coming out with some weird stuff. So that's always something to look forward to. Yeah, that's all I really have right now.
Yeah. Well, this is my second game that I've ever casted in the league, so I don't know much about the meta currently. However, I did cast Novice Division last night, Seattle Battle Cattle versus Geometric, and from what I saw from them, it was more of half poke, half Sombra Reaper Rush. So I'm looking forward to see some. I'm really hoping it's some Sombra Reaper Rush, because when that is executed well, it's a very enjoyable to watch.
As a person you casted last night, I can tell you that Sombra Reaper Rush typically is the meta. It's what we call it Shadow Dive, where it's Monkey. It's Monkey, Diva, Reaper, Sombra, Lucio, Moira. It's Shadow Dive because it's more of a shadow of a dive. It uses dive characters, but it plays more like a brawl. So that is what I'm told is the meta. Of course, I'm a novice player, so I'm not the most knowledgeable on most things. However, we'll have to see what these teams are going to run. Because if you look right now, it looks like Tokyo Drifters will be running that meta Shadow Dive. Unless, of course, they're...
I really like the name Shadow Dive.
Yeah, I do too. It really has many levels, man. Many levels. But it does look like Tokyo Drifters is going with the typical meta, but it does look like there might be a Sim TP coming out here, maybe just to get out of spawn. But it looks like Ryan Zar will be what's going to be on deck, and also an Ana coming out.
Definitely more brawly approach to it, as they're going straight on point, forcing Tokyo Drift out of that area to meet them on the point. And Tokyo Drift, they're trying to surround them, but it's too late. Platinum tries to go in and gets caught in the trap, immediately killed. Tokyo Drift trying to even it out just a little bit, but they have no idea who to target, as they're just looking for an opportunity. Oh, it looks like Pixel Master tries to do some antagonizing from the back line, and Tokyo Drifters is going to try to capitalize on that, and he's just left out in the open because there's nowhere for them to teleport to.
Yeah, Pixel Master got caught out there by a bad translocator. Now they're going to be fighting one man down here on the side of Kingdom Come.
But it looks really good for Kingdom Come, as they have Sim, and that deals so much damage, but I'm just caster cursing everything as they just dismantle Kingdom Come's defense and force them off the point. They're trying to do the best they can, eventually killing Apple, but it doesn't work as well as they wanted to, and Tokyo Drift claims the point.
Yeah, the big thing I'm noticing is there isn't a lot of damage. That's why they're switching over to the Reaper. There isn't a lot of frontline damage with running Sombra Symmetra. That's why typically you see a Reaper run, or at least a Mei for the utility, while Sombra wants to be in the back line, and then you kind of just leave your team at a disadvantage. Pixelmaster as well just got exposed. Oh god, EMP bomb comes out and gets
that's
3.
Huge! What a combo!
Yeah, beautifully set up there by Average TV. That is the beauty of Shadow Dive. You build up your ultimate so quickly in this composition, and there's also a lot of really good game-winning ultimate combos. Both the EMP Bomb and also the EMP Blossom has a tendency to come out, but we'll have to see if Kingdom Come can make a comeback here. I meant to say Tokyo Drifters with a good ult combo.
It's like EMP is such a flexible ult, it can almost be combined with absolutely anything. But Kingdom Come looking really strong here as they have 5 ults available, but they didn't get the sound barrier, canceling out the ults. Kingdom Come have to rely on more ults to just get rid of the entire Tokyo Drift. And eventually it does work, but that is all of their ults wasted. 5 of them.
Yeah.
That's devastating for their ultimate economy.
Yeah, really, they had to use a lot because the sound barrier because Lucio did not get effective at the EMP, was able to get the beat out for the EMP Shatter, so they had the grab in order to counteract. But at the same time, Tokyo only has the Coalescence to engage, and while Speed Amp Cole is a good engagement tool, I do think with the composition that Kingdom Come is running, they will be able to peel a lot. Decent boop, and here we go, the engage.
Ooh, but Axa doesn't get booped off the edge as he teleports right onto it, and it works out with that Coalescence, just putting on so much pressure for Kingdom Come, is that eventually falls, and Kingdom Come is going to fall with their main tank.
Yeah, that is... Shadow Dive is really good at breaking through those barriers, and the Reinzar is at a little bit of disadvantage because the Winston can just cleave through, and plus the Coalescence that was just able to get through barriers. The EMP is coming up here from Tokyo, however, the Death Blossom is on the other side for Kingdom Come. So we're gonna have to see if Kingdom Come can turn this around. They will also may have EMP mid-fight, but the thing is, whoever used the EMP first will probably win this.
They're going into the same position, and Tokyo Drift has the opportunity to EMP bomb, but Average is slept. But Platinum gets Batman! And that's a double hack coming out from each team. And Raging Cool just finishes everything off, sealing the deal, grabbing them another chance at taking this round.
Yeah, I was saying that the first EMP that come out would have won that fight. But it turned out that the second EMP won that fight because Raging Cool, even though he got hacked, the EMP came out and then the Blossom came out in time to win that fight. And nice clutch factor. They're gonna have Nano and Beat here. It's gonna be tight it's gonna be tight for this final fight.
It looks really good for Kingdom Come right now, but Average eats the grab. Oh, that could be gigantic. The Coalescence come out, dealing pressure with the Death Blossom. It's able to get Slimeul and Epic Shock, and it looks like Tokyo Drifters has nothing to worry about as they claim back the point from their enemies. The Winston D.Va really coming in clutch.
Yeah, what I really like about Shadow Dive is the Winston D.Va is able to keep up the momentum a lot of the time, a little bit quicker than Reinzar, because it doesn't necessarily have to rely on long cooldowns, because the Zarya has, in order for the Reinla brawl, Zarya needs her external bubble, while in a Winston D.Va composition, you only need that defense matrix, which is only on like a half-second cooldown. So most of the time, the Winston brawl can brawl faster than the Rein brawl, and that momentum shift kind of showed its head there. And also their ultimates were charging a little bit quicker than the ultimates on the side of Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I really think it's the Coalescence difference, because compared to just the Nano, it just does so much more, and it seems that Batman is going to go from Ana to Moira to balance that out. But a pause is being called.
A pause is being called. So pause comes out. Chat's a little bit mad because
chat's a little bit mad. So let's talk about this Pharah versus Sim pick. Now Sim is definitely going to try to teleport to the point and set up all of their sentries and really deny the entryway for Tokyo Drift. But honestly, I'm looking more at the Pharah being able to deal so much damage, because who do you have to deal with the Pharah? You have the Sombra, but the Sombra is really needed for the team fight to make this comp work.
Yeah, this is the classic poke on this map in particular. Typically, if a team is not running the Symmetra composition, they will run a poke composition because this point lends itself to a lot of point play and the ability just to bunker down on point. That's what's the goal of this Symmetra composition. And Pharah is a great way to just break through because the Pharah can flank behind, avoid the sim turrets, and just rain damage onto the backline. And again, you mentioned it. There's not a real counter on the side of Kingdom Come. They'll only have the Sombra being able to get hacks, but that's really about it. Again, this is sometimes teams like to run either a D.Va or a Sigma when they initially teleport, just to make sure they can absorb some of that poke. However, it looks like Kingdom Come is just going to try to rely on just trying to hold on to the point for as long as they can. I'd expect massive adaptations as soon as they lose their first fight on point, and we're getting unpaused as we speak. But what Tokyo is going to do now is play a little bit slow, force, and just poke, and try to get a pick enough so that the rest of the team can engage. Because also you'll see they'll switch to the Tracer, which is a lot better at that poke as well than the Sombra. Now they're just going to play it slow, and now that they got the Symmetra pick, they're probably just about to dive in here in a little bit.
Yeah, the DPS from the backline dealing in damage, but we have to worry about the tanks because they're getting awfully low. Can Master Dempsey give enough healing for them to survive? It looks like they can. Average TV does get demaxed, but damage is being heavily outputted as Kingdom Come just seems to be falling at every corridor.
Yeah, we're in a stall fight right now. It does look like slowly Tokyo might win. No, never mind. Epic Shock gets 2 picks. It is now even. But with that fall of the Zarya, man, this is just a back and forth fight right now. All that's left is the Pharah Tracer.
Pharah was doing its best that they could, but without the Mercy, there's only so long they can survive, especially on the ground. But it looks like Tokyo Drift, the Pharah and the Tracer gave them enough time for the tank line to come back, and they were able to finish off the rest of Kingdom Come.
Yeah, the big difference in this composition is that Kingdom Come's composition can survive losing members, while the Brawl of Kingdom Come really needs to stay together. And if they lose one member, they just need to reset. Barrage comes out.
But the down barrier counters it, but it doesn't hit Batman. Batman heavily focused down and just annihilated, but a nice shatter coming up from Gazette just wipes the rest of Tokyo Drift. And this is a really back and forth match now, isn't it?
It really is. Good EMP shatter coming out right there. Sometimes if they're running a Pharah, you can just press W and speed amp and just run over the rest of the team if you can see that Pharah flanking. The big thing as well I'm noticing is Kingdom Come actually did not get any percentage on that initial hold because the point had not unlocked. And because of that, Tokyo Drifter currently has the lead on ults. And look at this poke right now that's coming out from the Pharah. They're flanking, the Tracer's flanking, and now
Batman has to do something about the Pharah, but they can't. They need to focus on the team, and because of that, Batman's dead. And that's a majority of your healing out of the way. And even if Kingdom Come is getting picks, you have to deal with this Pharah Mercy duo that you can't hit.
Yep.
And not only that, but you also have to deal with the Tracer. So it's just a lost fight from there.
Yep. Kingdom Come had the right idea. They engaged heavily onto the front line, but the problem was the Pharah and Tracer were just doing so much damage in the back line. I like the switch from Epic Shock onto the D.Va just to put a little bit of pressure. I would suggest maybe a switch off the Sombra or the switch. Yeah, just this Pharah is getting a ton of value. I'm glad that they are trying to make an adaptation. What they need to do now is just play a lot more aggressive and try to get at this front line, but I think the front line of Tokyo is playing really smart, just keeping at a distance, not allowing them to get run over.
I'm really looking at Epic Shock, seeing if they can deny the existence of the Pharah a little bit. Oh, but that is a huge sleep and anti coming out from Master Dempsey. However, Pixel Master follows it up with a huge hack, denying any space that they could have had. But the damage output is just too much. The hack doesn't count.
Yeah, but here's the thing as well. Kingdom Come managed to cap the point somehow. So they're going to get some percentage here. The only problem I see right now, it is one fight territory, and I don't know if they're going to have all 6 to engage, especially with this Ana that nearly dies. We're gonna have to see if they're gonna be able to touch. There is a Wrecking Ball on point.
Oh, and a Reaper teleports, but it teleports right into the barrage. It's over, and the DPS are dead. Master Dempsey is gone, but you still have Platinum there. Can Platinum deal enough healing to win the fight? The damage is being output, and it just looks like it's over for Kingdom Come. One pick onto Average TV, and Pete, and the tides may be turned. I may have caster cursed it, but Asa is just dealing as much damage as they possibly can. The stall coming out from the heroes of Kingdom Come, but it's not doing anything. No one can counter the Pharah. The damage and the pressure are innumerable. And eventually, the map goes to Tokyo Drifters.
Yeah, what we saw right there is the battle between Poke and Brawl. I feel like the Poke composition definitely outclassed the Brawl composition every single time. And I feel like Kingdom Come might... They only switched to D.Va as a way to try to fight that. I felt like they should have tried a little bit hard. They should have tried to counter that far a little bit harder, because overall, that was interesting. And actually, an EM Sombra play of the game. That's a first for me, actually. But really good play from Tokyo. Just able to play their composition really well. Kept the space from the Brawl. Not Kingdom Come, sorry. Tokyo Drifters played really well. Able to keep their space from Kingdom Come and just play the Poke. Play it a lot slower, which is the point of the Poke composition. Wait for your DPS to get picks. And definitely the Pharah of Asa was really helping out there. And I feel like Tokyo Drifters is showing why they're such a dominant team. It was actually pretty close, though, in that last fight. But the problem was Tokyo Drifters had already built up all their ultimates. And were able to kind of just slowly build them and pop them. And they had faster respawns with their composition as well. So they were just able to keep piling on the pressure. And I don't think Kingdom Come was able to bounce back. So we'll have to see if any future maps are going to be a little bit closer than that. I do feel like Kingdom Come does have a fighting chance, as long as they don't get inside their heads too much after that loss.
Yeah, it seemed very back and forth as the point was being juggled about. However, I am going to say that in the neutral fight, it seemed like Tokyo Drifters had the edge every single time. Because, yes, while Kingdom Come did put up a good fight, that was on the back of many, many ults combinations. It just seems that Tokyo Drifters has a better tell on how to really get the most efficiency out of the comps that they're using.
Yeah, and also it seems that they have a decent game plan going into these maps, and also if they want to make adaptations, they will. For instance, they started on the Sombra, realized that wasn't really going to help their Poke, and quickly switched to the Tracer. And then they were just able to pile it on there. They also realized their compositional advantage. They didn't play too fast with the dive. They let the Pharah get value by flanking and slowly poking at them. They didn't rush any of their engagements, and I felt like they were just playing it really cleanly. I feel like Kingdom Come was forced to rush it a little bit. They have to play aggressive, especially in the Brawl, but the thing is about Brawl versus Poke, even though Brawl has to play aggressive, Poke can punish that aggression, and with the Pharah flanking and the Tracer flanking, maybe catch a support in rotation, and I feel like Tokyo was just able to play that compositional advantage a lot better, and I feel like Kingdom Come has to adapt a little bit more in their compositions in order to overcome. If they find themselves at a composition disadvantage, Kingdom Come has to make that adaptation that they were not making on Lijiang if they want to stay in this series.
Yeah, I think having a Winston D.Va or a D.Va at all would be better to deal with Shadow Dive and to deal with the Pharah in general, because this is kind of a repeat of what I saw last night in Novice League. I know they're different tiers, but it seemed that Pharah really is an issue that no one knows how to deal with. I mean, normally you would just ignore the Pharah at all and focus on the front line, but it seems like it's a problem because you can't really focus on the front line with the amount of damage that's being output, because you can't deal with the front line in time.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. the Pharah has a tendency to sneak into the back lines a lot, and even though what your gut says, just press W, run over the rest of the team, if they're playing a composition that is able to get away from that initial rush, say if you're using Lucio, that initial speed boost, if they're able to disengage and then re-engage really quickly, I feel that a Brawl comp can't really stand up to a Pharah composition. And we're going to go here on to Volskaya, where actually Pharah is pretty decent on the attack. However, I do expect a lot more Shadow Dive here. Well, we're actually going to see... Who's on the defense? Blue's on the defense, yeah? Oh, wait, that's the Suicide. I'm sad now. But the Ashe is going to be coming out from ASA, who Ashe hasn't really been seen a lot, in my personal opinion, but is still a really good, not operator, a really good hero. And they're running Ashe Tracer, which is a really good poke with those dive tanks, because dive tank right now kind of is just the meta, honestly. And then they're going to run the Ana just for some long-range heals. And I think the plan here is they're going to play slow rotations. We're going to see where the push comes from and then rotate away and just, again, rain damage in. It's going to be a similar idea to the Pharah. And meanwhile, on the other side, they're going to run Reinzar, Reaper Sombra, which is semi-meta with a Rein instead of a Winston.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the Rein. What a pick from Asa. I'm not so sure about the Rein Zarya tank line, as Volskaya is such a big map. It would seem that the dive heroes, the dive tanks, such as D.Va and Winston, would just have a much better time. But you know, Kingdom Come is really insistent on playing this GOATS-like variant of a Shadow Dive.
Yeah, the only problem is Tokyo Drifters is playing a really good poke. They're keeping their space. I think if they had pushed up this Ashe, you would have seen a bigger rotation. But look how far spread out Tokyo is playing right now. Though Pixelmaster will get Peep after hacking out the Tracer.
Huge pick on the Peep. And now it seems that Kingdom Come has the majority of the point, and Tokyo Drift is just afraid to touch it as Average gets hacked, so Average can't touch, and Apple gets focused down, so they're just, how do you touch the point at all?
Yeah.
No cooldowns. Apple going straight in. That's probably not a great idea, as he is forced out and killed. Asa trying to make up for it by killing Batman. But it doesn't seem good for Tokyo Drift. However, Gazette is extremely low, and Peep just gets rid of him. Now, let's see if Tokyo Drift... Peep coming at clutch once again, getting rid of the tire take line. It doesn't seem like they have to worry about touching the point, because Peep just decided to win.
Yep. Kingdom Come does get 2 ticks on the point and builds up their EMP. I will say the one advantage Brawl does have is point control, because Poke doesn't necessarily want to stay around for long. I do think it was a little bit of an overextension by Apple. Even though he had the Nano, I feel like going into the tight space with the Zarya and a Reaper is just a bad idea. But we'll have to see if the EMP is going to be able to get any value, considering how far spread that Tokyo is playing right now. And really nice rotation as well coming out. They see the Brawl coming, and they just rotate away. So we'll have to see what happens here. Good sleep. Hacks sleep on the Aisha. Aisha is a little bit in trouble if they can get there in time. But nice rotation.
Like Kingdom Come really... I say that right as Apple presses Q and flings Batman off the map. That is a majority of your healing out of the way. You do have the sound barrier, but it just seems like it's going to be over for Kingdom Come's attack. Once again, just one ult and it's all over.
They did use 2 ultimates, actually. I believe they used the Valk as well. However, they only used those 2 ultimates, and that was a really nice conservation. Also, I don't know if you noticed this, Batman accidentally nano Slimal. So it was a boostio. And now there's only a minute on the clock. These rotations coming out from Kingdom Come has really drained the clock. And even though they have 5 ultimates, they're going to have to hurry fast if they want to try to finish this point.
That's right. It's definitely okay because Pixelmaster has the Sombra ult. And if Pixelmaster can use it to the most efficiency, they will be able to win, but Batman's gone. They do have the sound barrier to engage, but it's just a matter of time. It does not seem good for Kingdom Come at all. The DPS getting the crucial picks.
Yeah, Batman rotated the wrong way, went outside the building. Oh, and now this slow staggered fight, this is not good for Kingdom Come, even though they will get the Mercy. That is actually a really important pickoff, but the rest of the team is going to die, so I don't know if that's going to matter in the end.
It's just the Sombra and the Reaper being able to touch.
And there's only 6 seconds left on the clock. Will they be able to touch? I think
but they're so far apart. This is not how it's supposed to be played. They do get Asa and just press Q as much as they can, but what does it do as Slime'll dives with Epic Shock, and it just looks like a full hold coming out from the Tokyo Drift. It's just over. It's sad to say. Oh, that's a huge shatter. It's managed to get platinum, but what are you gonna do with the shatter if there's no one there to capitalize on it? It's a really, really solid plays coming out from Tokyo Drifters.
Tokyo was able to because Brawl takes a really long time to actually get in a position, especially on Volskaya. Really nice rotations coming out from Tokyo, and Asa and Peep were just able to pick people off in rotation. And also, it's seen that Kingdom Come also messed up their rotation a couple of times, especially with Batman. He went to the top instead of dropping in the Mega Pack with the rest of his team, and because of that, he got caught out by the Ashe and the Tracer. So, just really solid and clean play from Tokyo, really understanding what their win condition is, and really good on the DPS of Tokyo Drifters, just able to capitalize on those
capitalizing on the mistakes of coming out from Kingdom Come. Yeah, it seems like maybe it's a little bit of a communication issue coming out from Kingdom Come, or maybe it's just they got confused on which way they were going.
I do think there's also
huge mistakes.
There's also a compositional weakness, I think, because the Reinhardt needs. I like the switch onto the Winston actually coming out here from G. It's about time, because I feel like if he was on that Winston, he could have punished that Ashe a little bit more. Because then the Winston D.Va could actually perform dives. Because even though Shadow Dive plays like Brawl, you can play a little more divey. Yeah. Especially against more pokey compositions where they're spread out. However, we're actually going to see a mirror of Shadow Dive, which I was not expecting, especially after the first map. But here we are.
Apple is engaging all the way, taking the top. Raging Cool is going to try to take it back, but it doesn't seem to do much as he immediately goes back to the point. And we're at a little bit of a stalemate. They're both poking right now, trying to reclaim the top ground. Let's see who engages first. And it looks like they're going to meet in the middle. Just going to poke a little bit, test around, see where their win condition is. Raging Cool does go back on top, but Average forces them out. Oh my god, that's a 6-man hack! You can't do anything against that, you're all hacked! And then immediately Batman and Gazette go down, and it's over. The match is just over.
Wow, I did not see... So I mentioned that Shadow Dive builds ultimate really fast, but that's an insane EMP build from Peep. Considering that Pistol Maxer is only on 73 now, he built that in under a minute, I believe. That is insanely fast. And then again, if you're playing against that mirror, it's so fast. That EMP, that one EMP, won them that game fight, and it's only because Pete built it in under a minute.
Which is like DPS coming out from Tokyo Drifters is just so good because they just know what to do.
Yeah, and
every mistake Kingdom Comes make is going to be the worst because it's an advanced league game, so there are going to be some mistakes. But when your mistakes are just going to get so heavily punished, it's just, how do you even beat this? Tokyo Drifters really showing everyone why they're on a hot streak.
Yeah, and I do feel like Kingdom Come, they need to start the match on that Winston. Because if they had started on the match, I feel like they would have had the compositional advantage. But yeah, I do agree. The DPS from Tokyo Drifters, I'm not saying are carrying, because I do think the rest of the team is playing pretty well. Maybe a little bit of overextensions on Apple's part. But besides that, I feel like the entirety of that team is playing really well. But on the side of Kingdom Come, it does seem that because they've kind of stuck themselves into a corner compositional wise, they seem like easy to capitalize upon, it that makes any sense. It just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like Tokyo is on a little bit of a different level right now. We'll have to see if King's Row is a turnaround, because this map typically favors the Reinzar, actually, and I think that's why Kingdom Come has picked it. This is, even when Ryan Zarya was not meta. Ryan Zarya was running on this map. So I do feel like maybe you're right. We could see Kingdom Come possibly do a lot better on this map, just because the map type is built for them. But we'll have to see because Tokyo Drifter's DPS line and Tokyo Drifters in general have just been looking so dominant this map.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Shadow Dive is going to do so well on King's Row. So Kingdom Come really recognizing their win condition in terms of map pool and trying to level the playing field by forcing Tokyo Drifters to probably play the Ryan Zarya.
Yeah, trying to force them into their own game. We'll have to see because I do think in specific situations the Monkey can work. I have seen Monkey D.Va work before on King's Row, but it's really difficult, especially if Kingdom Come actually can play, like, because they're trying to force Tokyo into their comfort zone, out of their comfort zone right now, and that's going to be their only hope to at least stay alive in this series. I do worry that even if Kingdom Come wins this map, I don't know if they're going to be able to adapt. I believe the final map type is Escort, if I remember correctly.
And we do have to talk about Pixelmaster switching from the DPS role to the support role and Triggered coming in. Because Batman was really caught out a lot and killed off.
Yeah, I do feel like Batman was probably the chink in the armor that Tokyo was able to exploit on the side of Kingdom Come. And I do like this idea of switching. Maybe Pixel has a support, and maybe Triggered is a DPS sub, I do believe. So
we could potentially see we could potentially see a new version of Kingdom Come, because a lot of the mistakes that I saw came from Batman.
Yep.
But we're gonna have to see.
We're gonna have to see. I do believe that the two major weakness was Batman, but also compositional wise. Now that we're on a map that favors what Kingdom Come was running previously, they might have a better chance here. They're on the attack. Okay, I was looking at this composition like, wait a moment, they're gonna run Torbjorn Hanzo. No, that's not gonna happen. And if you look, it has forced Tokyo to play the composition that Kingdom Come were previously playing, which is the Sombra Reaper. So I feel like the Sombra Reaper is.
Can we call this composition Shadow Goats?
I think it is Shadow. That actually would not be bad. I do like Shadow Goats.
I like Shadow Goats. Let's call it Shadow Goats.
Because it does play like goats.
All right, League Zero. If you're listening to us, this composition, Ryan Zarya, Sombra Reaper, is now called Shadow Goats.
It looks like we're gonna have a mirrored. It looks like Raging Quill is just gonna start on the Widow, just to try to get a pick here, and then it's probably gonna switch off to the Sombra. There it is. So we're gonna have mirrored compositions across the board. It's time to see if Kingdom Come can out-brawl the side.
They're definitely going in there, but gets the hacked. Oh, thank God he was able to disengage in time and get that healing up, and he actually gets peeped. This is really good coming out from Kingdom Come, taking the point as Tokyo Drifters decides to disengage. A really good disengage from Tokyo Drifters as they wait for Peep to come back. But can they touch in time? Who's going to touch?
They're going to be able to touch here. I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be close. Yeah, they're...
Oh, good, but Apple gets hacked.
Apple gets hacked.
Oh, and it's huge. It's coming out. The Coalescence tries to come out to even the playing field, but Kingdom Come shatters it home and just wins the team fight. What a hack coming out from Raging Cool.
Really good initial disengage, but then Raging Cool was able to... that is actually a new Sombra coming out from Kingdom Come, if you remember, because Pixelmaster was the Sombra on previous maps. So maybe this was maybe this is why they made the switch, just so they made this adaptation. A really good play coming out from Kingdom Come, and now they're gonna hold this forward corner just to try to get as much cart space as humanly possible. No real big ultimates besides the Coalescence on the side of Kingdom Come coming out.
Again, and Pixelmaster unleashes the Coalescence with the Zarya grab, and Kingdom Come once again bringing it home and just wiping the team. It looks like this is going to be a quick phase 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But there is the EMP coming out here from Raging Cool. That was a really good use of ultimates. If you are the first one to use ultimates in a team fight, typically you are the one that wins, especially in a mirror composition like this. And that was a really good use of the Coalescence plus grab just to kind of silence it. They will be able to touch. It looks that way. But four-man EMP.
Four-man EMP, but Platinum does not get hit. He's able to get the sound barrier out completely in effect, and the Earth Shatter levels the playing field, and it looks like Tokyo Drift is able to turn this back into control.
Yeah, the critical thing that happened there was the EMP did come out, but then the Shatter missed the Reinhardt, and Apple was able to stay alive long enough just to block just to get his shield back, and also was able to get a Shatter off, which really turned that fight in the favor of Tokyo Drifters. But it's not all over for Kingdom Come. They still have the beat, they still have the Death Blossom, but Tokyo does have the EMP, and that's going to be the big team fight. This is probably a lot
all eyes are on Slimal, seeing if he's going to be able to get that sound barrier out. It looks like he is going to be hiding in the background, and he's not hitting. He's able to get that sound barrier out, but gets that falls, gets that stand. Oh no, Asa releases the Death Blossom, separating the teams, and they're able to get Epic Shock as well, and it seems like Tokyo Drift is back in control. No more snowball for Kingdom Come.
Yeah, but the big thing there was Kingdom Come only traded one ultimate for about, I believe, 2 ultimates. They traded 1 ultimates for 2. All the other side has is that Grav, but there is a Death Blossom plus Coalescence and a Grav coming up on the side of Kingdom Come. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, that's double Gravs coming out, but it looks like Kingdom Come has the Coalescence, but it gets hacked out of it, and Master Dempsey gets the Coalescence in time. A great hack coming out from Pete that just lets Tokyo Drift take control of the battle once again, and what seemed like it would be a great map for Kingdom Come has just been really quick and efficient losses handed to them by
Well, that is true. Really quick hack coming out from Pete. I will say Raging Cool still has this EMP, so they're not out of this, especially because they have the EMP Blossom. Nothing really to counter it. They don't even have the sound. They don't even have the sound barrier to counter it here. So if they get this should be a 1 fight for Kingdom Come if they can get value.
He's gonna press Q. There it comes, a 5-man EMP. Platinum gets hacked, and it's over. Triggered, adding the Death Blossom just to style on them a little bit, and while Platinum stalls a little bit out, it ends up being a bad stagger.
Yeah, really good.
Kingdom Come is going to be advancing onto stage 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they'll be able to I don't think Tokyo will be able to touch here. But maybe they will, with the Reaper touching, they might be able to touch. No, that's it.
Water like a flat.
But really good EMP usage, just a quick, efficient fight. They didn't make any mistakes and just came it out. EMP beat will come out on the side of Tokyo. And again, there's nothing to counter this EMP because the beat is a little bit behind on charging. And it does look like... Yeah, it does look like this should be a fight 1 for Tokyo. They have ult advantage, 5-man EMP.
Oh, that is an excellent combo coming out from Peep and Apple. Just the EMP and Shatter. Slimal has the beat now, but are they going to save it for the next EMP, or are they going to use it to engage? Is my question. Because it seems like Kingdom Come just... They need to get back on their feet. Looks like they're a little bit shaken right now.
Yeah, but they do have... Oh, nice grab. Nice.
A sound barrier coming out to counter the Grav. Oh, but Gazette unleashes the Shatter, just devastating the front line. Apple tries to put up a fight, but it's just lambs to the slaughter at this point. As Tokyo Drift just kind of drives out of control.
Yeah, really nice ultimate usage there coming out from DHZ. If they had not done that, they would have absolutely lost the fight. They will have Beat and Blossom coming out here on the side of Kingdom Come. There isn't really any ultimates right now. Maybe the EMP here, but out comes the Blossom. Nice hack though.
Out of it. And Apple tries to charge us into it. He does get dead, and he gets the Moira. but Triggered in the back line has Death Blossom, and you don't want to be in the black line when Triggered has Death Blossom. Raging Cool finishes it all off with a nice hack, and it doesn't look like Peep is going to make it in time. Eventually he does because of Asa's Doomfist, and hacks 3 of them, but is it enough? Because Kingdom Come has the numbers to finish this off.
No, they don't! Not when Apple sends 3 of them off the map with a beautiful Wrecking Ball swing. This fight is not. Oh, but GD gets 2 more. This is
but is it enough? It's not enough because Apple. No, he gets the shatter. It's enough. Oh, what is this? It's
this is
a right now, but Gizek goes down. It's not enough. It's just the Mora unleashes the coalescence, but Tokyo Drift have come back into control. Have they? I don't know what's going on. It seems like Tokyo Drift manages to stabilize his last minute after some on and off gameplay coming out amazing.
Apple was able to turn that fight with that 3-man knockoff, and because of that, the respawns got out of tempo for the side of Kingdom Come. Though they're now under an inferior composition with the Tracer Doomfist, but the minefield does come out here just to create some space.
Will they be able to touch the teleport onto payload? But Slimal is caught out and is Raging Cool. It looks like there's no chance coming out for Kingdom Come as they try to stabilize, but it's just too much. Triggered unleashes the Death Blossom, but he annihilates the tank line. It's just the Reaper and Lucio, and it looks like Tokyo Drift just has to clean up.
Oh my god, Slimal got stunned out of his beat by the punch of Asa. But also just beautiful heroics coming out there from Apple. Apple really won that last fight, and as soon as they got the not numbers advantage, but respawn advantage, really started to kick in. I feel like
Apple saw the odds that wanted to be in Kingdom Come's favor, but Apple just struck them out.
Yeah, I do feel like
over like pins.
Good push though for coming out from Kingdom Come. At least they were not held in that second point as we might have predicted, and they weren't actually using their ultimates too badly either. They were in good tempo. It's just good heroics. I do feel like the individual play coming out from Tokyo Drifters is a little bit more than Kingdom Come's right now. However, I do think Kingdom Come, when they're together as a team, they can work together a lot. But it just seems the individual talent is so high on the side of Tokyo Drift.
It's just, once again, it feels like the neutral belongs to the Tokyo Drifters. However, it is not the same as it was in Map 1 and Map 2. Kingdom Come have definitely upped their game with the moves that they made. Yeah, I feel like they could upset Tokyo Drifters, but they're definitely going to come out with some hero plays. I'm looking at Raging Cool and Triggered. They better step up their game. They're already amazing, but they need to step it up even further if they want to win against Tokyo Drifters. And we're going to start it off as Triggered behind enemy lines. What is he going to do? He's after the main supports, but Asa is able to pressure the front line enough, getting Gized, and it doesn't look like Triggered is able to return the favor and get Apple. Apple just charging in there to his death. And it looks like it's going to be a 5v5, but Trigger's going in. He's in the back line, and he has 1 health.
Yeah, really kind of sloppy there from Triggered. But Coalescence is going to come out first here, along with the grab. This could be a winnable fight for Kingdom Come, I think.
It is a winnable fight from Kingdom Come. All there is Asa, and Asa decides to disengage. Dealt a little damage and just got right out there. Some amazing plays coming out from the deck shop.
Yeah.
And Pixel Master.
Yeah, Trigger has to stop teleporting right into the middle of the enemy team and engaging. That has caught him out a couple of times, but really good. Nice use of ultimates.
And was able to get Asa as soon right before the cat comes out. And it's just Kingdom Come putting that 5v6 into their favor even further and just taking that battle.
Nice comeback EMP right there from Raging Cool. That kind of just saved the fight. And also Slimal with a nice beat as well. Slimal has been avoiding the EMP a lot here in these past couple of fights. And now as they re-engage, all they have is the grab and beat.
Ooh, but that's a nice grab. Can they do anything with the Shatter? And he just comes in and just grabs maximum efficiency out of his Earth Shatter, just slamming the opponents into the ground.
Yeah, the biggest...
very nice recovery coming out from Tokyo Drifters.
Yeah, the real reason I think they won that fight was Trigger got hacked inside the grab because he had the Death Blossom built but was not able to use it. And because of that, they were just able to out-ultimate the side of Kingdom Come, and now we'll have to see what happens here. Kingdom Come does have 4 ultimates online, while the other side only has 2, maybe 3 if Pete can get this EMP in this during the upcoming fight. It's going to be a forward hold again, because I do not want to get held in the shot. Another grab comes out.
Unleashes the Q and he gets free! Devastating Kingdom Come! Amazing hero play coming out from Asa, just go ahead and tagging the ground just so that they know that this map, this is Tokyo Drifters map.
Yeah, really nice play coming out from the side of Asa. Nice flank. I don't think Kingdom Come expected him to do that, especially because in a brawl, typically the Reaper just stays with the Rhine. Nice flank coming out of Asa. 5-minute ultimate comes out. This is gonna be the end of second point, I think. Raging Cool already down.
Can Kingdom Come do anything about it? They lose Raging Cool to the just forward attack, but Triggered's in the backline once again. But it's not gonna work out the way that he wants it to. He's no Asa as Apple and Average just decimate the tank line once again, and it looks like Tokyo Drifters is about to take this easy peasy, not even a single fight back.
Yep. Average Cool will have the EMP here, but there is 3 ultimates on the other side. Ace has built his Death Blossom again in one fight, by the way. Triggered's Death Blossom was kind of questionable. He sort of just walked into the enemy team and then just clicked the Death Blossom and then got hacked immediately by Pete.
See what Asa did, really. Be honest.
Yeah, he did, but he just walked instead of dropping in like I think Asa did onto the back line. And there was a lot more window of opportunity for Tokyo to shut down Triggered. EMP comes out, 4-man EMP. But the sound barrier is there.
It doesn't matter. Apple goes down. It's gone. Platinum was a little too far back and waited a little too long, and Apple's just gone. However, Master Dempsey, with the Coalescence, is able to turn it back into the Tokyo Drifters' favor.
Yep.
While it looked like they were about to crash, they drift into safety.
Yep. This is looking really dire. It looks like this will probably be...
Oh no, the bug gets hacked!
Bug gets hacked!
Oh, there's a 3-man shatter with the
3-man shatter!
The Bastion is just... He's just annihilating the team. Triggered and Gized with the master plays, turning the favor into Kingdom Come's favor.
Really nice switch there from Trigger. They were not expecting the Bastion. There was no counters. There is 2 ultimates, though, on the other side, and because of all the switches, for stall, there is no ultimates in the side of Kingdom Come right now. But there is a Grab, Shatter, and Blossom all coming up on deck.
Can they beat the Bastion, is the question.
It will be up to see if they're going to be able to out-damage this Bastion, if they're going to be able to punish. Uh-oh. Peep's going to be able to get Raging Cool, but it was just a bait, I think. Never mind. Really good. We're going to have to see what happens here. I do think, though, it's in the favor of Tokyo Drifters right now. They just have so many ultimates. They do have the sound barrier, though, coming up on the side of Kingdom Come, and that will probably be their last hope here to win this fight.
They've decided to engage. Let's see how it goes out for them, as Triggered is just going to barrage them with damage. But how did it get work? Oh, Apple with the counter shatter. Absolutely denies what Gized was trying to do, even in Platinum Falls. The grab comes out, but doesn't do anything, as Asia just teleports in the backline and gets rid of Triggered. It's over. Asia presses Q for the Death Blossom, and it's beautiful. The kills just keep coming for Tokyo Drifters as they try, and they do take the game 3-0.
Really good play from Tokyo Drifters. Tokyo, that was a lot more consistent and a lot more straightforward than Kingdom Come, I think. And of course, this had to be play This ball switch won them the map basically because
Apple is not playing Overwatch.
Because
Apple
of this, they were not able to finish the map, and because of that, they won the game. Really good play coming out from Tokyo Drifters. All around, they were just looking so much better. Asa with some clutch plays there near the end as well. Able to shut down that Bastion, basically just teleported on top of him, by the way.
DPS definitely coming in clutch, but like you said, we can't just talk about the DPS because Apple and Average were playing amazing. Apple never got shattered. He just has quick feet and it comes out with the counter shatter. Master Dempsey's always coming out with those clutch support plays, and Platinum is always ready for those EMPs. It just looks so good from the entire team. But we can't really we can also focus on Kingdom Come because they came out with some clutch halftime readjustments that really looked a lot closer than it could have been. And if they won this map, I think they could have reverse swept. That's a hot take, but I
think they might have been able to generate enough mobility. I have to not mobility, sorry. Momentum, that's the word I was looking for. I think they could have probably generated some momentum if they had won that map, but unfortunately we're sitting here and Tokyo Drifter have won. Kingdom Come did play really well, especially on that last map, and really good adjustment as well. I just feel like Tokyo Drifter was just able to get a lot more out of their individual plays and out of their ultimates than Kingdom Come were in the end. That kind of cost them. And Tokyo Drifters is most clearly the winners here. I think and it looks like we're gonna get an interview here from possibly
Master Dempsey.
Master Dempsey. Yeah, I would have liked Asa, but I don't know if he's here.
Tokyo Drifters really showing why they're unbeaten right now.
Yep, and they still remain unbeaten. Really nice plays though.
4-0.
Yep, 4-0. They are. I can see why they are 4-0. That even though their DPS were kind of the flashiest, I believe, out of their entire team, I do think all 6 members of that team were playing at the top of their game, and really, really were playing so well, just beautifully.
If you could choose one player to give player of the match, who would you choose?
So even though Asa might be most deserving of it, because he was clutching a lot of the times, he was getting a lot of kills. I liked Platinum's play, and I also like Peep. So it's between those 3 for me. Platinum's play was just he never really died from what I saw. Like only once or twice in absolute lost fights he died. But overall, he stayed alive. He was able to get a ton of value in that Lucio. Peep was consistently getting good hacks off, and even on Tracer was just cleaning house. And of course, Asa with a lot of clutch ultimates and a clutch plays near the end of that series. I couldn't really give it to any of those guys. It's just all 6 were playing really well. It's just Asa and Peep were the flashiest, I think.
Yeah.
I honestly could not think out of those.
If I could give it to someone, I think I would have to give it to Apple.
Yeah.
Just because, honestly, he's got such great main tank plays. The counter shatters, his Winston was tussling and juggling people around and off the map. It just applied so much pressure, and he didn't really get punished for it.
Yep.
And you have his bowling ball play, which
and he did come in clutch a lot of the time, especially with that bowling ball wrecking ball play, which is I think the best poop I've actually ever seen from a wrecking ball in a clutch situation. So that was really good play coming out from Apple. I do agree. All of Tokyo, I don't see a real weakness on the side of Tokyo Drifters. Even though the other players we haven't mentioned, like Dempsey and I forget who the off tank is because he's left the lobby. But whoever the off tank for Tokyo Drifters, also both of them were just consistent and quiet, but they were getting value when the time came for them. And I just don't see a weakness coming out from Tokyo at all.
Yeah, it's just that's what it really looks like. And honestly, I want to know about behind the scenes, because you got to give credit where credit is due. Is it the players' intuition, or are they being coached really well? Because you can always have star players who always know what to do and make the flashiest plays. But for a team to work so good and all of them to pop off so much, you got to ask yourself, man, who is coaching this team?
Yeah, I do agree. Coaching had a lot to do with that. I think they were able to coach out the best of all those players. I do think the players were playing really well, but they also were playing within the confines of composition a lot of the time, and they were playing the composition almost perfectly.
Yeah. Let's bring Master Dempsey in.
Oh. Hello.
All right, Master Dempsey, congratulations on your win. Let's talk about your compositional strategies.
Okay.
Who do you think, in your opinion, would be the most valuable asset to your team? Like, is it coaching? Is it maybe your Chad main tank or your flashy DPS players? Who would you really give the MVP of the match to?
Honestly, like everyone is like really good, but I think the coaching for Mechapella just tips us over the edge. He's really refined our play.
Yeah,
but everyone else is just really solid too.
So how much of it is your intuition, and how much of it have their coaches drilled into you to perfect Shadow Dive and Shadow Goats?
Oh.
I was just going to clarify. Shadow Goats is what we're referring to of basically Shadow Dive, sub out the tanks for Renzar. That's a term we just coined. Just kidding. But just how has your coaching affected your play so far? Because obviously you guys are undefeated and you're killing it. Just how much of an impact do you guys think that your coaching staff has made? Because it looked really clean today.
The coaching, like, I feel like the coaching helped refine our play, but I mean, it's still the players making those insane plays, like Apple, Peep, Astogen. They're all just playing out of their minds.
I'd have to go through there, yeah.
One last question from me. Coming into this match, how confident were you guys?
I think the rest of the team was pretty confident. I was not that confident because I've been benched the entire season. But yeah, I think we knew we were gonna get the win.
Wow. A benched player putting up that much of a performance. It really shows how stacked this roster is. All right, Florida, do you have any questions?
Final thing, do you have any shout outs or anything you'd like to say before we conclude this interview?
Yes, I have something very important to say. Luigi.
Very well. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Master Dempsey, for joining us in this match. Congratulations to you on your easy win, and I hope to see you again next week.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me to the interview.
No problem. Anyways, I think that's going to be all from us. I don't have much more to say about this match.
Thank you guys for tuning in to see Tokyo Drifters versus Kingdom Come, and I hope you guys have a nice night. This is Payne signing off, and my casting partner,
Florida. Yeah, this is Florida. Also signing off. Thanks for watching.